What we're going to cover in this video are the building blocks of geometry, the most basic units of geometry that we're going to build everything in this course off of. This is almost so basic that it doesn't really fall under any particular competency, but it's more of a, like we talked about in class, kind of just the language we have to speak. The most basic unit of geometry is the point, which is all a point is a representation of a location on a plane or in space. We're going to start with two-dimensional stuff, which is on a plane, and then we're going to toward the end of the course we're going to talk about three-dimensional in space stuff. But when we're talking about naming a point, we're going to just say point A. We label that point with one letter, so this might be point B, right? And it's infinitely small. Its only location, it's so small it actually doesn't have size, it only has location, and it's named with a single capital letter and a dot. Now, when we're talking about all of these things in this lecture, we're naming them with capital letters. Lowercase letters are going to be reserved for something else later on in the course. So it does make a difference. That whether you're talking about lowercase or uppercase letters. So we're talking capital letters only. But again, a single point gets a single capital letter. If we take that, but that really, points aren't probably things we need to name all that often, but the following things are. If we take a whole bunch of points and arrange them in a straight line that extends forever and ever and ever, we would have a line, right? A line is an infinitely straight arrangement of points. Here we have a line that, again, we obviously can't represent something that's infinite in length, but the fact that it's got arrows on both sides is enough to indicate that. When you name a line, we are going to use two and only two points on the line with a line over the top of them. So if we have this line here that contains points A, B, and C, we might name it as AC with a line over it, BC with a line over it, or AB with a line over it. They all represent the same lines. So whether you're naming it or whether you're getting that information, that's what that is indicating. The two letters and the combined with the symbol over the top is indicating a line. Right? And if you've got any two points that are on the same line, it's called collinear. All of those points, A, B, and C, are collinear. Points, let's make that a D, not a B. Points A, B, C, and D are not collinear because you can't draw one line through all of them. But if you can draw a line through them, they are collinear, even if there isn't a line drawn through them. C and D could be considered collinear because you could put one line through them, but B, C, and D cannot be. So we start with a point, then we go to a line with a straight arrangement of points, and then if you take part of the line, and let's see if I have anything here. I don't think I do. If we break that line up to various parts, you could have what's called a segment. A line segment, or just a segment, is any part of the line consisting of 2 points, which are called endpoints, and all the points in between them. So, and we have only one way to name a line segment, and it's with the endpoints. Segments do have a length too. That's something I almost forgot there. Segments have a length. You can measure a segment. You can't measure a line because a line is infinite, but you can measure a segment. So, and if we're going to name a segment, it's named by their endpoints with just a line over the top of them. So as I look at this line here, it contains line segment AC. Now notice I didn't put anything over the top of it beyond the line. AB and BC. All right. AC is this part of the line right here. AB is this one. And BC is this one. All of them have lengths. All of them are still named with two capital letters, but they're more specific now. They're more specific points. And the symbol over the top of them is just a little bit different. And lastly, but not leastly, when we are kind of combining a line and array, a line and a segment rather, you get a ray, which is the part of the line starting at an endpoint and extending forever in one direction. Right? So if we took and covered this up, right? We cover up this half of the line beyond the beyond point B. Right? This is a ray. It's got an endpoint and then goes forever in one direction. Think of a ray of light. A ray of light would go forever and ever and ever. This one is the most specific in how we name them. They are infinite in length because if they go forever, they're infinite in length. But how we name them is important. Right? This one here, and we'll name other ones too. This is ray BC, and it's just got an arrow over the top of it. And how we read that when we get this is the first letter is the endpoint. That's where it starts, and the second letter is a point that it goes through. It kind of determines the direction. We take this off, we take this little thing off here, and we look at this and we say, all right, if we wanted to see a ray that's going in the opposite direction, starting at B and going to A is a ray that's going to the left. Now notice that the thing on the top, the symbol on the top, doesn't change. That doesn't determine the direction. The thing over the top only tells you what it is, not which direction it's going. The order of the letters tells you that. So B is where it starts and A is where it goes through. That means it's starting at B and going left through A. We're starting at B and going through C, that means it's going right. That's how we determine the direction. And let's take another case here because this is the most specific thing that has to be named. If we take ray AC and ray AB, those are not distinct rays. Those are the same ray. They start at A and go forever through the right. Whether we name it as starting at A and then going through C, or starting at A and going through B, it's the same part of the line. We're just using a different second letter to determine that direction. So if the question that you're getting asked is, name me 3 distinct rays, these would not be distinct, right? They'd be the same, right? But BC and BA are, AB and BC are, those are distinct rays. Those are different rays. They're not the same. Right? So in summary, lines, segments, and rays are all named using 2 capital letters. Capital letters. That's important. A lot of times people want to put lowercase. That's not going to be communicating understanding. Lines are named with any 2 points. Lines are the easiest to name, and with the same symbol over the top, the line symbol over the top. Segments are named using endpoints with just a line over the top. And then rays are named using its endpoint and one other point contained by the ray. So if the ray is going to the right, use a point that's to the right of the endpoint. If it's going to the left, use a point that's to the left of the endpoint, and you'll be just fine. All of them are 2 letters only, though. We'll worry about when we start talking about triangles, when we start talking about angles, those all use 3 letters. So 2 capital letters only with the correct symbol over the top, and you will appropriately be naming these building blocks of geometry. We're going to get plenty of practice in class. Hope this helped.